There's a bad tendency when someone comes across something like Santa Claus no Takarabako to just go, wow, isn't this weird? And then move on. And I'm not going to say it isn't weird, because it is. But Santa Claus no Takarabako is part of a whole weird tapestry. It was not a crazy idea that sprang full-formed from Data East's brow. It was part of a whole collection of oddities. To really put Santa Claus no Takarabako into context, you have to place yourself in the mid-80s. Since the 1960s, people had been promising affordable computers for every home, and now it was actually achievable in some form. And now that everyone had a computer, even if it was a family computer, what do you do with it? Congratulations, you have a box that can do Boolean logic. So what? And because no one had really answered that yet for the average home user, beyond telling them that they could organize their recipes, a lot of people just threw everything at the wall to see what stuck. Even on the disk system, we had knitting tutorials already. What I'm getting at is that when Data East made Santa Claus no Takarabako, they decided to make a digital Christmas card. And of course it was one that would only work with the Famicom Disk System. So it's weird, but it's really not that much weirder than anything else people were trying. Nobody really knew what would catch on. Maybe this would be it. It wasn't, but maybe it would have been. You don't know unless you try. The way that Santa Claus no Takarabako works is you put in the disc, then you're told to flip it over, and then you get a little customized Christmas card. You've got a picture, a Christmas carol playing, and Santa Claus moving around at the bottom of the screen, along with a scrolling message. And then when you like, you can hit select to go to the main menu. From here you have the options to edit the card, presumably so you could pass it on, or you could choose to play some party games. There are 4 primary things that you can change when you're editing the Christmas card: the text, the background, the music, and the Santa sprite. To edit the text, you hit Start to cycle through every one of the sections, and here you can personalize who the card is to and from, as well as change the scrolling text. The background and music are changed on the same page of the menu, and you have 3 options for each of those. For the background, you've got a house on a snowy night, a Christmas tree, and a cake. Well, for the music, you have your choice of Silent Night, Jingle Bells, or Oh Christmas Tree. Editing the sprite is a real challenge. You've got 2 frames of Santa movement, and you edit them in blocks of 8x8. That's due to how the Famicom handles sprites. So Santa is 24 pixels tall by 16 pixels wide. You've got a palette of technically 4 colors, though one of them is transparent, and you choose which color you're working with by hitting the Start button. If you want to change the color that you have selected, press A and B simultaneously. Note that this does mean simultaneously. If you're off by even a little bit, then it doesn't work, and you've probably drawn in a pixel. You also don't have the full range of the Famicom's palette. There's about 16 colors available to you, rather than 64. An important thing to be aware of here is that Select always backs out. And doing this once will take you to the menu at the top of the screen where you choose from your various options, but doing it again jumps back to the main menu. I spent about half an hour editing the Christmas card to create a customized ending for this episode, and then accidentally double-tapped the Select button, which deleted all of my work. So you can experience some frustration there. The party games are, for the most part, not video games as you'd expect it. The idea is, at your Christmas party, you'd load this up on the disk system, and then everyone would play a game along with you, with Santa Claus no Takarabako acting as a randomizer of sorts. So there's Bingo, where it randomly gives you a bingo number. The package had bingo cards in it, but the manual tells you that if you run out, go buy some from a toy store. There's also a bunch of special symbols that might come up, like the bomb or the star. The manual tells you that you should decide among the players what those mean when they come up. Again, these are party activities, not really proper video games. The next one is Roulette, and here you've got a wheel with a bunch of numbers, but it isn't a proper roulette wheel because there is no green or double zeros to throw the odds in the house's favor. So instead you hit the button, see what number comes up, and it'll tell you if it was high or low, red or black, odd or even. Basically, people at your party were supposed to be betting on this just like regular roulette. The next one is a slot machine, I guess because slot machines are easy to do. Not much of a party game. You start with 100 credits, it costs 10 credits to play, and if you run out, the game just stops. Finally, there's poker dice. 5 dice are rolled, and it tells you what kind of multiplier you get for your roll. The idea is everybody starts with a certain number of points, and then bets them as they hit the A button to roll, and increases their score that way. It's not much of a game. And that's the contents of Santa Claus no Takarabako. It's not the kind of thing that people really kept around, or enjoyed, or remembered. The disc is actually a little bit rare these days, probably because most of them got rewritten. One of the weirdest things about Santa Claus no Takarabako to me is the manual. Let me just put on a Christmas card and read some of that for you. This is, of course, a rough translation. I feel so lucky that I'm not Australian. Australia's seasons are opposite to Japan's, and Christmas takes place in the heat of summer. I think Christmas is perfect for the cold, when the trees are blowing in the wind and the powdered snow is falling. On a street corner where the cold north wind blows, as Jingle Bells plays in the distance, you hurry home with the collar of your coat turned up. Or maybe you're sitting in a warm room with your friends and family, enjoying cake and conversation. The cold of winter suits Christmas well. For adults, December and the end of the year is the time for giving gifts to those who helped them, having holiday parties, and enjoying drinking at Christmas. But for me, what makes December feel like Christmas is when the nights come earlier. You hear the news reports that snow has piled up at ski resorts. That's when I know that it's December and Christmas time. On the quiet nights, when the iced woods of the garden is shaken, I think about the years that have passed. A hot sandy beach, a refreshing breeze through the forest. The year I spent with you passed in the blink of an eye. Thank you for the wonderful memories. Just as adults give gifts at the end of the year to express their gratitude, for me, Christmas is a time to wrap up the year's memories and express my gratitude with Christmas cards. Thank you for the wonderful memories this year. This is for you with my gratitude. Merry Christmas. I give it to you with all of my heart.